Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to NXT The Game Season 1, Episode 10. This is NXT TakeOver Chicago. The spotlight shines in the ring as Triple H stands in there. This is NXT! And a reminder, this is being shown on the USA Network. Instead of WWE Network, we decided to go to USA Television to try to get a couple, extra points in the boost for the actual fan interest and popularity, etc., etc. But that's what we're doing here. So we're being shown all of our TakeOver specials. We signed a 3-year deal to show our TakeOver specials and only our TakeOver specials on the USA Network. WWE is paying USA Network, and it will be commercial free. All right. Here we go. The camera begins to pan around the arena and lands on the front row. It's Candice LeRae. The fans go crazy. Candice LeRae appears to be the newest signing to NXT, and that will prop up a very strong women's division, so I'm excited to use her. Alright, the camera shifts to the announcers as Tom Phillips, Nigel McGuinness, and Steve Corino join us at ringside. Phillips says that NXT TakeOver Chicago is going to be a huge night and feature 3 championship matches. Nigel cuts in and adds that tonight we're also beginning an unadvertised 6 matches. Alistair Black takes on Elias Sampson, and that'll be our opening contest tonight. Steve Corino then chimes in and says he just can't quite frankly understand what's so appealing about Alistair Black. Just as he says that, Black's theme hits, and Nigel McGuinness adds as we head to ringside for the match that he's about to find out. So here we go, Alistair Black, Elias Sampson, unadvertised match at TakeOver. The camera pans to the top of the ramp and we get an elaborate entrance for Alistair Black. And about that, a decent wrestling but not in much way of heat. Alistair Black defeats Elias Sampson in 13 minutes via submission. Alistair Black gets the victory over the Drifter on NXT TakeOver Chicago here tonight. Alright. And in our opening match that's advertised, Nikki Cross defeats Ember Moon in 13 minutes by a handful of tights. SAniTY's resident crazy bitch, Nikki Cross, gets the victory over Ember Moon. Now, for those of you who are just joining us here in NXT for the first time since the first episode, possibly, you will have missed but won't remember that Nikki Cross, after losing to Ember Moon in the vacated NXT Championship Women's Tournament, thanks to Asuka going and leaving NXT, Nikki Cross came back in the semifinals and cost Ember Moon, thus leading to this matchup. Well, tonight, SAniTY's resident bitch, their crazy person, Nikki Cross, gets the victory. Alright, and up next, in a decent match, Blake and Murphy defeat DIY in 20 minutes when Murphy defeats DIY member Tomasso Ciampa by pinfall with a Murphy Law after Velvet Skye interferes. So Blake and Murphy return with Velvet Skye, claiming that they're the torchbearers here in NXT, not DIY. Has been nothing but problems for DIY, Tommaso Ciampa, and Johnny Gargano, and with the help of Velvet Skye and a handful of tights after Murphy's Law, Blake and Murphy here, the new It Factor, get the victory. Alright, next we see clips of the NXT Championship Women's Tournament featuring Ruby Riott and Peyton Royce. It all came down to this, both of which have went through the quarterfinals, semifinals, and we're into the main event round now, where Ruby Riott or Peyton Royce will be your new WWE NXT Women's Champion. Alright, now and about that, a decent wrestling but didn't have much heat. Peyton Royce defeats Ruby Riott in 16 minutes with a leg sweep DDT following a distraction from Billie Kay of the iconic duo. Peyton Royce is your NXT Women's Champion. That's right. Peyton Royce gets the victory over Ruby Riott thanks to the help of Billie Kay, and she is your NXT Women's Champion. Now, I am a fan of clean finishes. However, in the first couple weeks, I'm doing a little more dusty and a little more interaction and a little more finishes, as you will, as I'm, really getting everyone up to date and up to speed with how the characters are going to be interacting. But tonight, Peyton Royce is your new NXT Women's Champion. All right, and the next match for the NXT Tag Team titles, and about that, a decent wrestling, but didn't have much heat. The Authors of Pain defeated No Way Jose, and Roddy Strong with Acom defeats No Way Jose by pinfall. They've made defense number 2, and in the weirdest known in the world of notes, No Way Jose carried the match in terms of in-ring performance. For some reason, he had a better in-match performance than Roddy Strong, and this is unfortunate. Razor seemed off his game. Razor and Acom doesn't have a working. Acom and Razor don't work well as a team. Well, too bad. You're gonna have to figure it out because you're the Author of the Pain, and that's not going nowhere. But either way, The Authors of Pain defend their championships for a second time, defeating No Way Jose, who carried the match apparently, and Roderick Strong here tonight in NXT. Mr. NXT is coming now. Mr. NXT is coming now. That's right, as the theme hits, the crowd waits until finally Mr. NXT flashes on the Titantron and walks onto the stage. Phillips seems shocked on commentary. Mr. NXT is holding a briefcase that reads NXT Money in the Bank as he smiles and a holy shit breaks out. Mr. NXT pulls a microphone out from behind his back and straightens his mask. What I have right here is a NXT Money in the Bank briefcase. The fans go nuts as they were not only expecting to see Mr. NXT, but had no idea there was going to be an NXT Money in the Bank briefcase to be had. Another holy shit chant breaks out as Mr. NXT soaks it all in. And you're all looking at the first entrant into that upcoming match. Mr. NXT drops the mics and holds up a briefcase on stage as this has sent the fans into a frenzy. Mr. NXT has debuted in NXT. He has returned, if you remember my TEW 13 NXT The Game Save, but he has brought in back out the NXT Money in the Bank briefcase, assuring that he will be one of the 6 participants in that match. When is that going to happen? Probably the next TakeOver special. But until then, Mr. NXT is reminding you that he's not only here, but there will be a Mr. NXT Money in the Bank match. He performed poorly. That's unfortunate, but he got the crowd harder. All right, we got a promo hyping and highlighting the Bobby Roode and Eric Young program. We see Bobby Roode defeating Shinsuke at NXT TakeOver Orlando, only to have that crazy group SAnitY run in and attack him afterwards. We see Bobby Roode celebrating 2 weeks later on NXT television, and SAnitY again attacking Mr. Roode. We again see backstage brawls, verbal confrontations, and SAnity's leader Eric Young holding the NXT Championship over a beaten Bobby Roode. It's all led to this. Bobby Roode, Eric Young, NXT TakeOver Chicago main event. Let's get straight to it. In a decent match, Bobby Roode defeats Eric Young by pinfall with the payoff. Bobby Roode makes this offense number 2 of his NXT Championship title reign. After having defeated challenger Eric Young to retain the NXT Championship, Bobby Roode stands in the middle of the ring exhausted, gloriously, and holds his NXT Championship high above his head, as that is an end to NXT TakeOver Chicago. So, what is our rating of 59? This was NXT TakeOver Chicago, ladies and gentlemen, of NXT The Game Season 1, Episode 10 of 59, our best rating so far. This lost its popularity in one region. I'm guessing that's Southeast. That's alright. This is our best rating so far. We put on a very solid TakeOver special, and as I reminded you, the ratings will go up as our fan interest grows, as our popularity grows, as our wrestlers' overness grows, as we're just getting into the save. But again, this was NXT The Game Season 1, Episode 10, NXT TakeOver Chicago. And hold on to your britches, ladies and gentlemen, because of the debut of Candice LeRae, with the debut of Mr. NXT, and with about 5 or 6 other guys that are going to be in and out of the debuts very, very, very shortly, NXT is about to get hype.